what is the right age for a child to start using social media? I worry that right now, if you look at the guidelines from the platforms, that age 13 is when kids are technically allowed to use social media. But there are two concerns I have about that. One is, I personally, based on the data I've seen, believe that 13 is too early. And I think that it's a time, early adolescence, where kids are developing their identity, their sense of self. It's a time where it's really important for us to be thoughtful about what's going into how they think about their own self-worth and their relationships. And the skewed and often distorted environment of social media often does a disservice to many of those children. But the other concern I have is that these rules around age are inconsistently implemented.
Welcome to the ceremonial swearing-in of our new 4-star Admiral of the United States Public Health Service Commission Corps, Dr. Rachel Levine. Vice Admiral Murthy, would you like to say a few words about the U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corps?
We are extremely proud to have Dr. Levine join the 6,000 officers of the U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corps.
Dr. Levine, are you ready?
I am.
Place your hand on the Constitution and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Rachel L. Levine.
So help me God.
So help me God. I am honored to serve as the first female 4-star officer of the U.S. Public Health Service Commissioned Corps, and the first openly transgender 4-star officer to serve across any of the 8 uniformed services. This is a momentous occasion, and I am honored to take this role for the impact that I can make and for the historic nature of what it symbolizes. I stand on the shoulders of those LGBTQ+ individuals who came before me, both those known and unknown. May this appointment today be the first of many more to come as we create a diverse and more inclusive future.
Thank you, Admiral Levine and Vice Admiral Murthy, for your service and dedication to protect, promote, and advance the health and safety of the nation.
We know that family acceptance and appropriate medical intervention bring measurable benefits to young people's quality of life. We do not need laws and actions in states that dictate the principles of transgender medical care for youth and adults.
Every person who comes to see you, every human being, has value, has worth, and needs to be treated with dignity, care, and respect. And that is true for the LGBTQ community as well.
Murthy's concerns follow recent legislation and guidance from the Florida Department of Health.
And I say that because in my conversations with young people in the LGBTQ community over the last several months, many of them are not feeling like they are valued, that they are respected.
Murthy says they feel threatened by recent rules in areas including gender dysphoria, the strong desire by some to be another gender. The state says current evidence does not support the use of puberty blockers or hormone treatment or surgical procedures for children and adolescents. Federal guidelines recommend medical treatments for minors who question their gender.
I think it's very important that we have the right people at the table, that we let science and medicine guide us, that we consider the impact of these measures on LGBTQ youth, who, by the way, have a significantly higher rate of suicide and mental health concerns.
Having one supportive person to bring them through these difficult times has saved the lives of more LGBTQ+ young people than we will ever know. It is so critically important. One supportive adult. That might be you. That might be their pediatrician or their nurse or their social worker or their therapist or their dietitian or their teacher or their coach.
Murthy says medical professionals support the federal guidelines.
It's important that health policy decisions are made and driven by medical professionals, by public health professionals, by evidence and data.
The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Psychiatric Association, the Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, the Endocrine Society, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, our Society for Adolescent Health and Medicine, and the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, among other professional groups, all agree that gender-affirming care is medically necessary. It is safe and effective for transgender and non-binary children and adolescents.
We have some of the best designers and product developers in the world who have designed these products to make sure people are maximizing the amount of time they spend on these platforms. And if we tell a child, use the force of your willpower to control how much time you're spending, you're pitting a child against the world's greatest product designers, and that's just not a fair fight. And so that's why I think our kids need help. And what we need, which we don't have right now, is we need transparency from social media companies as to the impact that their platforms are having on kids and which kids are being adversely affected. We also need safety standards, which we don't have. In my house right now, the vast majority of products that we buy, that I use, had to meet some sort of safety standard in order to be sold. That is not true in general of social media, and that is something we have to fix.